these are even easier. You know why? Because this is what they're going to ask you. Well, let me ask you this. If I asked all of you to just sit a second and say, I want you all to write me a question about these two drugs, what would you do? You're like, well, all right, well, these are the two drugs. This is not a really crazy adverse effect, skin reaction, no big deal. But this is a little interesting, you know. This is for fusion, inhibits fusion, okay? This drug inhibits docking, and they have a little mnemonic here, a little, you know, highlighting to help you remember. That's cool. And then guess what? This is GP41, this is 120. Do you think they'll ask you a question on that? They might. They might ask about fusion versus docking. And if you don't have it settled in your head or set in your mind that 41 is this and 120 is this, what happens is you're so familiar with so much information. You're very familiar with everything. I mean, you remember seeing it somewhere. You just don't remember which one is which. And that is a horrible feeling to have on any exam, especially exam for your future, because you're like, well, I know it, but I forgot which one's which. So what I always do in my videos, and I'm showing you now live, if you haven't seen my QBank videos, which you should be watching, is this: E before M, 41 before 120. Make it simple. All right. So if I ever see fusion, fusion is a 41. And if I ever see anything about docking, docking is a 120. So if you can do that, oh, by the way, check this out, ready? Integrases. Yeah, look at this. Integrase only has two listed here, these two names. But if you go further down, there's four. I'm not concerned. Why? Because I see Tegra. I see Tegra. I see Tegra. I see Tegra. This is kind of cool because no matter what I do, if I see a Tegra, it's an integrase. And the Navirs, they're over here. Look how many more they have. Look, the Navirs are only a few up here. Ready? Watch. We only have 1, 2, 3, 4. But here, hold on. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Quick question for the class here. Indinavir. What is an adverse effect that you must know about Indinavir, which is not in the first aid? Adverse effect. Tell me what you got. Tell me what you know. There's an adverse effect that's very important to know that happens if you take Indinavir, and unfortunately in the first aid, even though it's listed there, when you get to here, you're like, oh, I have this. I don't see Indinavir anywhere. You want to pass the test. You take a QBank. I prefer AMBOSS. And the answers are much better, explanations. That plus first aid. And then if you wanted to add more, plus my videos, that's all you need to pass any step one. But if your foundation isn't strong enough, clearly you need to take a step back and then brush up on a lot more info. But if you're decent in the info, explanations, first aid together have all the information you need, because not one resource has it all, right? Let's see what you guys answered. I gotta look at the text. Lipodystrophy. All right. Okay. Indinavir has something that other things do not cause. Crystal-induced nephropathy. Also nephrolithiasis and lipodystrophy, yes. So you need to know Indinavir crystallizes in the kidney, and it will say crystallized nephropathy, nephrolithiasis, and lipodystrophy, HIV-induced lipodystrophy. Those are three things that Indinavir can cause. So you see, did I write it down? No. You might say, Starbo, come on, man. You read a lot. Yeah, I do. I have to, because my memory is decent. But I'll tell you this. If you spend more time just reviewing and glancing information, and not just facts, because first aid is all facts. I'm talking about if I opened up and I did 13, 14 questions in HIV, let's say drugs, for example, and I spend an hour, 2 hours doing them, you better believe tomorrow morning I'd wake up and say, before I start my day, I will open up those questions again and just review the scenarios, review the answers, expose myself, because most of you do Anki. I don't know why. I think it's ridiculous. I think it's a waste of time personally, but some people use it because they like it. But if you're spending and you're looking at 700 cards like this over and over and over and over again because you need it, that's perfectly fine. Why not open up a couple of scenarios so you can actually take information and connect it with a patient. Because if you don't, what happens is you flood your mind with so much info that you're like, oh, everything looks so familiar. Shh,